Hey, it's Stu Radio on the radio, no radio. Today's topic is what is flirting and how do you view it? Flirt is defined as to behave as though attracted or to attract someone, but for the purpose of amusement rather than with serious intentions, right? So let's talk about flirting. First, I would like to say, before I get into the topic, thank you everybody for tuning in. It's the radio on the radio, no radio. This past weekend, I just came back from a business conference, so I was being very productive over this course of the weekend, and now I'm here. What is flirting? Let's talk about flirting. I want to give an example of what flirting is and how people view it. So for the most part, I hear so many different definitions of what someone thinks flirting is and whether or not it is okay, right? I've heard that, flirting is okay in a relationship, because it keeps it spicy. Flirting is not okay in a relationship because it causes turmoil. Flirting is okay in the business world because it helps you get, what you want. Flirting is okay in the work environment because it helps you get to where you're trying to, be. Flirting is okay in some instances, and in some cases it's not. What is flirting? Well, let's think about the word flirt. Like I said, it's to behave as though attracted or to attract someone for amusement purposes rather than serious intentions, right? I want to give an example of how people view or how people think what flirting means, or it could be miscommunicated. Okay, like if I was to walk into a store, right? Let me give you an example of when I was in the military. I like to use my military stories. Story time, right? So when I was in the military, I used to shop in this place called Military Circle. It was in Virginia. And I would speak to the different people there, like, the ladies behind the cash register, and they will always be like, oh, well, I'm married, or, this, I have a boyfriend, or, I'm not interested. And I will be so confused because I'm not thinking that these ladies think I am flirting. So now I'm going to have to throw my friend out there. His name is Zatarian Marshall. He will always tell me, hey, Stu, man, hey, man, you got to stop flirting with everybody, man. Every time we go around here, you just be flirting with these chicks, right? Never like crossed my mind that that's how they were receiving it. So I've come throughout the years to think, well, maybe some people view flirting differently, right? Because I thought flirting was more like, you got to be in their face, you got to be in their eyes, you got to be telling them sweet sweet, like nothing's in their ear. You got to hold their fingers and caress their neck and touch their chin. Like I thought flirting had different actions and behaviors that went with the word itself, flirting. Like I said, come to find out throughout the years, people interpret this word flirting differently. So my question for you today is, what is flirting and how do you view it? I'm only asking this because I know a lot of people have flirting issues in their relationships. I've helped several people. I've also had several issues myself in relationships with flirting. And for the most part, throughout all of my relationships, not all, let me not say all is a long, giant word. Throughout a lot of my relationships that I've had with just friends, family, intimate relationships, partners, flirting has always been an issue because people think I want something from them that I don't want or necessarily didn't want. Now, to make you guys laugh, I'm going to tell you the other side of how flirting has been a negative for me, right? Working like down south and being in the military, I would come across like different, gentlemen, guys, people who were in the military as well. I working alongside them. Now I'm talking about men now. I just want to understand men. So I just being a friendly person, trying to get to know people and see where they come from. Or these guys, I didn't know that they thought I was flirting with them. And let me use my man, the Tyrion voice again. Hey, Stu, man, you gotta start being nice to people, man. These guys think you want to talk to them. We was in the military circle and dudes was trying to give me their number. Like, hey, man, you alright. call me, call you. Like it was completely slipping my mind. So then, like now, I want you to think about this. So I'm talking to my I can say this now. My wife, Keontae. My wife, Candice. Don't kill me, Candice. I'm talking to my wife, Candice, right? And she's telling me because the way someone approaches the topic, like so. When I think about something or the way I view something, it's more logically. So it has to make sense to me. I have to think about it. As to where other people approach it more from a feelings perspective. She was saying that you don't necessarily view what you're doing as flirting because you know in your heart and in your head that that's not what you're attempting to do, right? She said, but your mannerisms can be perceived differently by somebody who's thinking mostly using their feelings instead of someone who's using, a different type of thought process, right? So I found out, I was doing some research. I found out that this is true. We have different personality traits that I would like to talk about definitely in a different video. Excuse me. So if everybody's different and we all think differently. So when it comes to flirting and the topic of flirting and how flirting works and the dynamics of flirting, well, our experiences dictated in stuff that we've seen on TV or the way we watch our family members interact with each other, where we get different experiences and we develop in our head what we think flirting to be. So when we see something happen or we see a behavior, we automatically think that's flirting. It may not necessarily be flirting because that person might not have that intention of flirting. It's just that the way we process information from a thinking perspective, you're gonna process it differently than somebody who's coming at it from a feeling perspective, and then whatever the experiences were in the background. So, like I said, I asked today again, what is flirting and how do you view it? Now, today's talk, I know, was a different approach. It was least informative and it's more of a challenge. I want you to challenge how do you think about this situation and think about your past previous relationships. Were people actually flirting? Or did flirting benefit you? How did flirting not benefit you? Like, what were some downsides from not flirting? What were some downsides from flirting? What were some downsides in a relationship? Because in a relationship, let's talk about intimate relationship real quick, like couples. If you're in a relationship and you're not flirting, what are you doing? How does the other person kind of know that you're interested or attracted with them? So it's like maybe flirting is not a bad thing. I personally feel, in my opinion, flirting is a great thing. It helps keep the spark between me and Candice in our relationship. I love flirting with her. She flirts with me back. This is great. Like when I'm in a store and I'm trying to get a discount, I smile a lot. Like why not? I'm trying to get a discount. If I meet somebody that I think is a nice person, and I would like to sometime meet them again in the future for whether it be business endeavors or they might be a great person to introduce to my friends so they can be part of the group. I come off nice towards them. But I don't think one should just definitely see nice and attach it to the word flirt. Because that might not necessarily mean what it means. Like, the word flirt definitely has a definition. So, what I'm saying is that I feel like flirting is not a bad thing. Flirting can be a bad thing if used with negative intentions. But overall, what do you feel about flirting? How do you feel about flirting? Let me know. Leave it in the comments. Also, give me some feedback. Love me, hate me, share me. It's the radio on the radio, no radio. I'm about to go out here and I'm about to advertise for my man Andre real quick. Andre, he has different classes that he teach. He's a group fitness instructor, also a great personal trainer. I'm going to one of his classes at 6:30, Body by Dre. I believe that's the class, right, Dre? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I know it's one of his classes that he teaches, and he's a great trainer. So I'm looking forward to being tired tonight. And I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.